2021 Volkswagen ID.4 revealed, electric range, design, price, photos. The People's EV debuts with up to 250 miles of range and rear or all-wheel drive. After a long march toward electrification, Volkswagen finally revealed the 2021 ID.4 crossover, the US market's first long-range EV from the brand. Taking a page from the ID.3 hatchback, which won't come to the US, the VW ID.4 rides atop the company's MEB platform and arrives to do battle with the Chevrolet Bolt EV, Hyundai Kona EV, and Kia Niro EV in the electric crossover segment. Launching in the first quarter of 2021, it can't get here soon enough. This isn't the first EV x VW effort on our shores. The e-Golf gave the world a glimpse at Volkswagen's all-electric aspirations, but by the time it was cancelled in the US, it only offered a 125-mile range and $31,895 starting price. Earlier models had just 86 miles of EPA-rated range. The ID.4, on the other hand, promises up to 250 miles per charge, as well as available all-wheel drive. Each of the aforementioned EV rivals are front drive only. EV range, big battery, middling distance. The 2021 ID.4 will come standard with an 82 kWh battery, outstripping the Bolt, 66 kWh, Niro EV, and Kona EV, 64 kWh, Mustang Mach-E, 75.7 kWh, and not a crossover Nissan Leaf Plus, 62 kWh. However, the much larger battery pack doesn't come with a longer estimated range. According to Volkswagen, the ID.4 will travel 250 miles before needing a charge, behind the Bolt's 259 miles and the Kona's 258 miles, though still ahead of the Niro's 239 miles, the base Mach-E's 230 miles, and the Leaf's 226 miles. A rear-mounted electric motor producing 201 horsepower, 150 kilowatts, and 228 pound-feet, 309 Newton-meters, is competitive in this class of crossover EV, producing identical power to the Kona and Niro, but much less torque. The Korean cousins offer 291 lb-ft or 395 Nm. The Bolt makes a bit less power, but again, much more torque, at 200 HP, 149 kilowatts, and 266 lb-ft, 361 Nm. The overtly sporty Mustang outdoes the Niro as well, boasting 255 HP, 190 kilowatts, and 306 lb-ft, 415 Nm. Even the Nissan Leaf outdoes the ID.4 at 214 HP, 160 kilowatts, and 250 lb-ft, 339 Nm. It asks the question, where does the ID.4's larger battery capacity end up, if not overall EV range or outright power? Volkswagen ID.4. Battery capacity 82 kWh. Range 250 miles. Base power 201 HP, 150 kilowatts. Base torque 228 lb-ft, 309 Nm. All that said, the ID.4 should leave those front-drive competitors gasping once the its available two-motor setup arrives on the market a few months after the single-motor model. Adding a front-mounted electric motor enables EV all-wheel drive and boosts power to a stout 302 HP, 225 kilowatts. Torque is still unconfirmed, but we'd bet on at least 325 lb-ft, 441 Nm. It's not clear if all-wheel drive will reduce overall range, but if Volkswagen can counteract the added weight of the additional motor with more efficient power delivery, it might be an even deal. Helping reduce range anxiety in ID.4 shoppers will be 3 years of unlimited charging at Electrify America stations nationwide. Volkswagen announced the program just a few days before debuting the ID.4, giving original owners or lessees of the car a nearly zero-cost way to juice up. Electrify America will still charge idle fees if the VW isn't disconnected within 10 minutes of finishing charging, and the benefit doesn't extend to commercial customers, including ride-share operators. Still, for the average consumer, 3 years of free charging are a compelling perk. Exterior, smiles and style. Winning further points for the 2021 Volkswagen ID.4 is its smart, attractive styling. With friendly and approachable curves that belly the rest of VW's somewhat aggressive lineup, the ID.4 looks more in line with the company's historic Beetle, Bus, and Carmen Ghia models. Of course, squinting head and tail lights look appropriately modern, particularly with their attractive LED ringed accents and full-width front and rear light bars. With no front grille to speak of save a bumper-mounted cooling intake, the front end is sleek and crisp, avoiding either the pitfalls of a faux radiator opening or a massive, blank-faced stare. The headlight internals are intricately designed, with a glowering projector covered in geometric LED textures. Adding a bit more visual pop to the front end is an illuminated VW logo on models equipped with the $4,500 statement package. The side profile's softly curved shoulder line adds a bit more retro flavor to the VW ID.4, although crossover chic black plastic rocker panels and wheel arches ruin the clean design somewhat with faux ruggedness. Adding some charm back are white contrasting roof accents, paired with a blackout painted roof, that makes the upright SUV look lower and sleeker and a bit more like a Beetle, if you squint. The rear view is as neatly styled as the front, the only exception being the fussy black reflector surrounds on the bumper corners. Those nacelles would be much prettier in body color. The full-width LED tail light panel includes some of the same geometric inlays as the headlights, interrupted in the middle by another illuminated VW logo. From stem to stern, the generally clean design of the ID.4 is attractive, distinctive, and futuristic. Interior, modern furnishings, maxi space. The story is much the same inside. A 5.3-inch digital instrument display emerges from the steering column, not unlike a trip computer for a bicycle, and it's much smaller than expected of the same brand that brought us Volkswagen Digital Cockpit. That's a good thing in this minimalist cabin. The simple display features 3 reconfigurable tiles that show the most important information, with the battery's state of charge and range shown underneath. Touch-sensitive controls on the steering wheel provide inputs for the instrument cluster. The simple gauges allow the massive infotainment display to take center stage, literally and figuratively. Measuring 10.0 inches for the base model and 12.0 inches for the ID.4 statement, the center stack is angled toward the driver slightly, with sliders for the climate control, temperature and audio system volume mounted just underneath the screen. Standard navigation and no-touch gesture control bring some upmarket features to the Volkswagen. Befitting its minimalist styling, the ID.4 gets an unusual rocker switch in place of a traditional transmission selector. Mounted to the right side of the gauge cluster, the switch opens up plenty of room in the center console for a wireless charging smartphone compartment, 2 USB-C outlets, 2 cup holders, and a big cubby, with more storage found under the console near the footwell. The EVW boasts 30.3 cubic feet of cargo space behind the second row, expanding to 64.2 with the rear seats folded weirdly. There's no frunk. Still, luggage volume compares favorably to each of the ID.4's electric competition, beating their seats up cargo space by between 7 and 15 cubes. In fact, the VW has more room with the rear seat in place than the Nissan Leaf does with it folded. The Volkswagen's 99 cubic feet of passenger room is likewise class-leading, something zero-emissions families should keep in mind when shopping for their next vehicle. Safety, modern tech, standard. No one should be surprised to learn that the 2021 Volkswagen ID.4 boasts a long list of standard active safety features. The company's new IQ.Drive suite of driver assist technology includes forward collision warning with pedestrian monitoring and automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assistance, and adaptive cruise control. In addition, the ID.4 features road sign monitoring, parking sensors, and automatic high beams. In the event of a collision, 6 airbags, frontal and side impact torso airbags for the first row and a pair of curtain airbags for both rows help protect passengers, although we're surprised at the lack of knee airbags for this day and age. Meanwhile, an extruded aluminum frame protects the battery from crash damage, and the ID.4 automatically disconnects the electrical array after a serious accident. A replaceable undertray protects the battery from incidental road debris. Pricing and availability. The 2021 Volkswagen ID.4 arrives in the first quarter of next year. Its starting price of $39,995 represents the base rear drive model, boasting piano black interior accents, black cloth seats, 19-inch wheels, a body color roof, and roof rails. The $4,500 statement package adds a few niceties: fixed glass roof, gray or black leatherette, adaptive front lighting, power folding side mirrors, and the aforementioned 12.0-inch infotainment screen and illuminated rear badges. At the top of the heap is the $1,500 gradient package, offered only in conjunction with statement and adding 20-inch wheels, a black roof, and silver exterior accents. Early adopters keen to show off their forward thinking would likely be most interested in the Volkswagen ID.4 First Edition, boasting the statement and gradient packages at a cost of $43,995. Unique to the first will be snappy electric white interior accents, brake and accelerator pedals with pause and play symbols, black mirror caps, and attractive exterior badging. At a savings of $2,000 compared to the loaded statement/gradient, the First Edition is probably the one to get. Pricing for the all-wheel drive 302 HP ID.4 starts at $43,695, and that model will go on sale before mid-2021. It, like all other ID.4 variants, will qualify for a $7,500 federal tax credit, bringing the model line's base price down to $32,495 for rear drive or $36,195 with all-wheel drive. VW points out that's roughly in line with the Tiguan Cell and Tiguan Cell 4 Motion. Reservations for the ID.4 open up today, costing a fully refundable fee of $100 for the honor of being among the first to buy into Volkswagen's EV future. The 2021 ID.4 will be sold in all 50 states through a network of 600 dealers nationwide.